down.
Good morning. Morning. Yitzchak Isaac. Good morning. Isaac. Good morning. Good morning to the entire world. Okay. So, Reb Eisel was also one to relate another incident.
Did you post it? The pictures?
I did not. Should I do that now? Do that now. No, but I'd rather finish this first. And then we'll do it. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to go for Reb, and I'm going to do respectful. And I think let's finish this first, and then we'll only post the second one. Unless someone joins now, let's see what happens. Because this is still continuing, finishing off like another short story in regards to Reb Doiver, Mittel Rebbe, right? And last time he basically explained that the reason why those Chassidim were depressed and sad, looking sad, was because they considered their gold and silver that they're making as if they.
Isaac. You did this. You did the first sentence. Chassidim once sat together in earnest discussion several days prior to the festival of Shavuos. When someone raised the question, what should one request in his prayers to the Almighty on the eve of Shavuos? Um, I think I should. I think I heard like a question like this before. Maybe I don't know. Unless it's my first time. I don't know. But yeah. I really like the question. I really want to hear the answer. Um, nice.
Was washed. As each chassid offered his educated opinion, young Dover entered the room, and the query was posed to him. Expected to hear the conventional reply that one ought to pray for a deeper understanding of Chassidic thought or other lofty and intellectual pursuits. However, Dover's quick response was simple yet thought-provoking. The Torah was given on Mount Sinai amidst a fiery flame. I pray that I too should possess that same inner fire. I like it. He's saying to daven to Hashem, a person, that we should have the fire of Torah inside of us. That means what I think it means. I think it means that Torah could be, like that. You do it, even if you're doing everything right. We're not talking about doing things wrong. We're talking about doing the right things, doing mitzvahs, doing Torah, but just without passion, without just tired and by rote. But to have a fire, that's a good thing to daven for.
Also,
That's it. We'll jump to the next thing.
um,
So, Talmudic.
yeah. You want to post it? Talmudic plumbing. But I think that I mean, I don't think I understand. I don't think I understand like in my language. I don't know, but I think if I read it over a bunch of times, I'll probably understand it. But yeah. I think that's the last page. It goes 182. That's the new one. Yeah. Um,
Your word is Talmudic on the next page.
I said Talmudic.
Oh, what was the word?
Oh, Talmudic belief. Let's see. I'll read it to myself, I guess.
Plumbing. Sink. It wasn't. I mean, I think it was a fairly simple story. I don't know what should you daven for on Shavuos. They were discussing it, and when they posed a question to Mittler Rebbe, he responded that the Torah was given on Har Sinai with fire, and he davens that he too should possess that fire. That's what he davens for. Okay. Tzfas, a mystical village perched on atop of the hills of the Galil, was famed for its illustrious scholars and ascetics. Among them was Rabbi Yosef Cairo, 16th century Talmudist and codifier of Jewish law, author of the Shulchan Aruch, literally set table, universally accepted code of Jewish law. He spent his days and nights immersed in the study, deliberating the intricacies of Jewish law. With regard to this world-renowned sage, the Baal Shem Tov once related. Okay, as far as I go. Basically, what we're saying is that Yosef Cairo lived in Tzfas, and the Baal Shem Tov once had a story about him.
Tzfat, Israel. One evening, in the midst of his studies, Rabbi Yosef came across a particularly difficult Talmudic text. Taken in its literal context, it seemed to contradict and establish biological principle.
Don't guess.
What?
Don't guess words.
I didn't. Biological principle. Oh, I missed this one.
No.
What? Biological. Oh, biblical principle. For many hours, he labored over the and enigmatic passage, attempting to reconcile the apparent inconsistency, but to no avail. Rabbi Yosef would not rest until it was
A member. Okay. Well, you started reading that really clear and nice. I was you're doing it. I think you're doing it on purpose, but it was really nice the way you started reading it with a tune. Like it sounded good. If you're just like not sure about it, watch the video and listen to how you're reading it, and you'll see what I mean. You're ready, really nice. Rabbi Yosef would not rest until it was adequately resolved. He spent the entire night in deep contemplation, using every ounce of intellectual might he could muster. At the crack of dawn, it finally occurred to him the text must be read in an entirely new manner, contrary to its classical rendition. Pleased with his discovery, he headed for the synagogue to recite the morning prayers. So, Rabbi Yosef Cairo was learning. He came across a difficult piece that he was learning in Gemara, and he worked the entire night until he finally realized that he had to read it completely different. But he worked really, really hard. And then by the time he figured it out, it was already time to go daven. Chakras.
pretty cool. Mystical, spiritual. Morning shalom. Um, uh, uh, um, well, I think that there's a bunch of usually if I would read something and I would hey, that doesn't. I don't think that belongs in that story or something. If it goes if it's a twist, yeah, this is what the story is, and it's no, I don't think that's what the story is about. So I think he was trying to figure out why it was saying these things and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know why Shalom had to leave, but I think he was part of the story. I don't think it was a twist.
Village. Close knit. They're close together. Okay. Passing by the study hall in the early morning hours, he overheard a faint voice ringing from within. By the way, I wanted to say, don't be afraid of just reading one sentence. You know, like you can do that, and then I'll continue, or I'll read one, and then you continue. So he's walking by the study hall, and he heard somebody learning inside. A few audible words instantly caught his attention. It was the very portion of Talmud upon which he himself had toiled throughout the night. Beset with curiosity, he glanced into the open window and listened intently. Before him sat a young man, no great scholar of sorts, effortlessly reciting the text. Amazingly, he was articulating the words in the precise manner which Rabbi Yosef had conceived over his long hours of study. Needless to say, the rabbi was crestfallen. Basically, this young student was doing the same amount, came to the same conclusion.
Later, he approached his colleagues. Perched, I think. Perched?
Yes.
Purchase. Credit card. Later, he approached his colleague, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, probably known as the Holy Aryeh. The later was a celebrated Kabbalistic, also an inhabitant of 16 centuries. Tzvat. Rabbi Yosef told him of his disturbing incident and expressed his dejection. The young man gasped with ease or something. Yeah, ease. I don't know.
Ease.
Oh,
easy.
That which took me many hours to deduct. He complained.
A top hat. Top hat. So he went to, right? So Rabbi Yosef Cairo went to the Rabbi Yitzchak Luria. People also call him Isaac Luria, also known as the Arizal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and told him that he was what happened, that he worked all night and trying to understand something, and then finally came to the conclusion, and that when he was walking by the study hall, he heard a simple student, learning the same thing that he had to work all night to come to that conclusion. And he said how he was, he was dejected about it. He was feeling down about that. Do not worry, replied the Ari, for his erudition is in your merit. For thousands of years since the giving of the Torah, your profound interpretation lay dormant, submerged within the vast sea of Torah, which has yet to be revealed. I'm going to stop here, and hopefully we'll continue.
Where are we? The end. Where did you start? Where did you stop? Revealed. Though your through your extortion, exertion, no, exertion. You succeeded in wrenching open the pipe. Consequently, the reservoir flows forth freely to all, and the layman can grasp and with little effort. I think that I think that now he thinks that he's not really holy because he didn't really figure out the whole thing, and I guess now he realizes that there is someone higher than him and stuff like that. So
Maurice, Hills, Granada. I get it. No, you get it. So Ari responded to him and said, "Don't worry about it, because the reason why he was able to learn it and come to the same conclusion that you did is because you revealed it, that aspect of the Torah, that interpretation of that piece of Gemara, because you worked so hard on it and you revealed it. That's why, and that's what enabled you to that's what enabled him to learn it in that way. So the only reason why he was able to learn in that way is because of you. Basically, you opened up that pipe, hence the name of this, Talmudic plumbing. Because once you opened up that pipe, you have a way for this interpretation to be revealed, so then people can access it. So don't feel bad. In fact, you should be glad. Don't get sad. Get glad.
Of you. So I guess the both of them weren't really. I guess they were both. They couldn't both sleep. I guess because it said Rabbi Yosef would not rest until he was adequately resolved or something. So I guess he also probably had the same issue too, but then he realized he probably had more safers open, and he's like, oh, this and this and this is how it is, or maybe Hashem put the answer with him that way. the Rabbi Yosef would it be able to to like have to get rest or something. It says something about that he glanced out the window and it was daytime or something. Yeah.
He was working all night, right? Rabbi Yosef Cairo had a question on the. He didn't fully he came to a tough part in the Gemara. He stayed up all night learning it to try to figure out, and then finally at the end of the night, when it was already starting, the morning, he realized that he has to read it completely different, and there's a different understanding of it. So he felt good, he felt happy, but then when he went to when he was going to Shul to daven, he heard a simple student reading the same thing and coming to the same conclusion that he came to.
Mm-hmm.
So he felt bad that he had to work all night, and the simple student got it in no time. He heard him. He overheard the guy, so he heard him learning the same piece of Gemara. So he's like, "Ooh, let me hear how he's gonna learn it." Because I just spent all night on this. So as he's listening in, he hears that the guy easily just does what he did. So he felt bad that he had to work all night on it, and this guy just got it in 2 minutes. Easily just read it. So when he told that to the Ari told him that his learning it so easily is because of you. The question is, meaning because you opened up that pipe and you brought that out into the world. So therefore he was able to learn like that. The question is, how does that apply to us? What are we supposed to do with the story?
I don't think that it's true. I think that he probably also maybe he was learning and he realized it's getting late and he's gonna not be able to daven in the morning. He decided he's gonna go to sleep, and then he woke up and maybe he's like, oh, I forgot about this, and then he opens up the page and the answer's right there. Saying if Rabbi Yosef went to sleep, maybe he would have probably woke up and got the answer. Maybe. But I mean, it doesn't say that he stayed up. The Rizal stayed up all night. It just says that he went to shul. The Rabbi Yosef went to shul, and he heard this Chossid saying the same thing, and he said, "Wow, he found that in a like." But how does he know that he stayed up? How does he know he didn't stay up all night? Not. Well, he didn't say him. He didn't tell him. I have a story actually. It's almost the same thing I think on this. Yeah.
Well, on a simple level, Rabbi Yosef Cairo wrote the Shulchan Aruch. You ever tried writing a Shulchan Aruch?
Mm-hmm.
Me neither. You know why? Because I can't. It means you have to learn the Gemara, the whole Gemara,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to know it very, very well, as in very well. And on that, you have to come to the conclusion about what's the halacha,
Mm-hmm.
and then write a Shulchan Aruch.
Mm-hmm.
So to write what the halacha is from the Gemara, you have to be insane level of just smart, right? But besides that, like we said, that place was filled with Talmudic Chachamim and people very involved with Kabbalah, and these people are not people like me and you. They're giants, as we call them, Torah giants. He wrote the Shulchan Aruch, and we're talking about the Arizal. You think he's a great guy? I think he's a great guy. I'm saying. So it's not like how did he know he didn't work? He worked hard on it,
Uh, um. Yeah, so like I had like a story that like, yeah, I stayed up all night doing video for my brother, and I went to sleep this time. I went to sleep at 5, woke up at 6:15. I tried finishing up. I finished it at about 1 in the afternoon, and I mean like I could have said like told someone, yeah, this is, and they like he could have said, oh, like someone could have said, or I could have went to shul and like someone's like been taking like, let's say, doing a bar mitzvah. Let's say there's 2 bar mitzvahs, mine and someone else's, and I go to shul and I see this guy in the back, and I know this guy, let's say, and I see him like, and and he finishes a video, um, and I'm like I ask him how long he could say, like I could imagine that, like, oh, maybe he did the same thing with like me. He probably stayed up all night in shul, or I could assume that he just went to shul and did it. So I think it's like the same thing, but yeah, maybe a little different.
So let's imagine. We weren't even doing the words, huh?
Oh,
Of
I did
father.
have. I did have.
You did of?
Yeah.
The famous. So imagine you are, if not the best, one of the best video editors in the world. Okay, you edit movies and ads and whatever, the best videos. Okay, you're one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
And you try to do a certain effect or something like that on video, and you spent all night on it, hours and hours and hours. Okay, 8 hours, 9 hours you spent on it, 10 hours even, yeah. And then finally you figured out how to do it and you did it. And then you go out and you see this schnook guy who just started doing video editing, who's never, right? He never did it before. He's like one of his first times. He just started. One of his first videos that he's doing, and you see that he does the video effect that you did, that you figured, that you took you all night to figure out how to do. He does it in 2 seconds. How'd that make you feel?
I would think that uh, that oh Galil 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 um name let's see, I don't know, I'd probably be a little mad that like I took all, let's say, okay, let's say I finished like the whole thing, but like it took me like probably about, I got home 9, so from 9 to 5 in the morning I've been working on that whole section to make it all like great. And if I found out that like it only took him, and let's say it took him like maybe I don't know how long, and I found out that he did it, I'd probably get a little mad, and like probably would want to learn from him, maybe like ask him like, how did you do that? And like I would probably ask him how long it took him, um, and I don't think he would like, he would probably say, yeah, it took me a long time or something. Doesn't have he doesn't say like how long. um, I could tell him, I say, yeah, I've been working on this for about 10 hours or something, let's say. um, I can say, yeah, so I did this and this and this to do it. I'd probably get like angry, but learn from him. So
That's a very good point. Okay, was, is. Um, you're making a very good point about like trying to learn from him, but if you are the one that, let's say he's using an editing program, yeah? But you're the one that created that editing program. You understand what we're talking about? We're talking about you're on a completely different level as him. He's not, it's not like being a big shot or anything. It's just that You've done that your entire life. You're professional at it. You created that program he's using. And then not like you're guessing how long it took. You know that he's just doing it, reading it for the first time right now. That means you're on a completely different level than him, much higher level. And he's doing it in his way. In your way. That means he accomplished the same thing that you took so long to accomplish. So the point is that I really told him that you're the one that brought it into the world. That means by you working on it all night, you affected that it's now in the world and everybody could do it. That's why he was able to learn it so easily, because of you.
I see. But like it doesn't. I guess it doesn't really matter how long it took him. I guess. Now, as the question goes, like as you're bringing in, like, yeah, I taught it. I did the whole thing. I built it, and I finished the whole thing. But I guess I might. I think I understand what you're saying. So it doesn't really matter how long it took them or something like that. Um, yeah. Uh, um,
Wow, that is a loud fridge. Um, maybe pulling an all-nighter also got you a little under the weather. Which word am I doing? Famed? Did you do famed? You didn't do.
I didn't do frame.
Okay, famed, framed. Um, yeah. There's things always trying to attack our body and get us sick. And usually we can fight it off, no problem.
Yeah,
But when we're not taking care of our body, like for example, you're saying eating junk, for example, so then your body is busy fighting off a bunch of junk, and it takes a toll on the body. For example, they did a recent study which was showing that when you're smoking while you're trying to fight off like a cold or anything, it basically takes you longer because your body is trying to fight off the poisons your middle sticking into your body with the smoking, and plus it's trying to fight off the sickness. So that's the word the devil is hard. So yeah, definitely got to take care of yourself a little bit. The sun is definitely good, especially on a nice warm day. Get some sun, vitamin D, help you get rid of the cold a little bit, cough. Some vitamin C, make sure you take. Take care of yourself.
Yeah. No, but I stayed up Black Bomber the whole night. Wednesday night. Oh, 4, 3. Wednesday night I stayed up. I actually woke up in the mornings. Wednesday morning, I remember waking up at 7 in the morning. Because I had to go. I had to go to shul, and I wanted to um, just I wanted to join class. And then I went to sleep Thursday night at about no Friday morning at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Um. So I don't think that affected me, but I think that it's the environment that I'm in. And there's like a lot of like. I think the reason why I got sick is because I was in the shluchim office and they were vaping a lot. I mean, they were doing the hookah a lot, and I was like in the corner watching the game. So I think maybe that's.
Very possible. Say secondhand smoke is pretty bad, but I don't know. Could be. Very possible. Oh, the word. It's PTSD, which stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. A bunch of letters that people like to put to things these days. What I learned from this story is that when I put in effort into something and somebody else either takes it for granted or does it effortlessly or things like that, I got to realize that what I do affects the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see it clearly in regards to like technology and things like that. What like Yiska like saying about the Baal Shem Tov. What the Baal Shem Tov? What? Tell me miracles of the Baal Shem Tov. The craziest miracles. He used to travel from one place to another place really fast. We do that. We take a plane, travel across the entire U.S. in a couple of hours. You're there. That's miraculous. Every schnook could do it now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because it was started before he brought it into the world, and we're able to do it on another level.
Mm-hmm.
That means, yeah.
I think it's over. Yeah, sure, Koya. Mine's a minute behind.
Okay. Yasher koiha.